Hello there, my name is George Hurst. In this program, I would like to show you how to tool a Longhorn head from an illustration by Tony Lair. This is the original sketch that Tony did of the Longhorn head, and here is the tracing we made to do the tooling. I have taped my pattern to the piece of leather that I'm using. I'm using a piece of 8 to 9 ounce vegetable tanned leather, of course, and I've dampened it, and it's now beginning to return to its natural color, so this is a good time to do our tracing. I will start down here now. Trace not real deep, just deep enough so that we can see it. As you can see, it's okay. I can see it quite well, so I will continue tracing. The dotted lines are a guideline for some modeling tool and some beveling, not for cutting. We will do our cutting only the lines that are solid. I'm going to use the pointed end of my stylus to trace the eye very carefully. The ears, you'll notice on the edges we have hair endings, so I'll just kind of do some fine zigzagged lines or just some short strokes as you see me doing here. I'm also using the pointed or the sharper end of the stylus to do the hair on the top of the head. As you can see, this hair is rather coarse and hangs down over the forehead. And a final check, and everything looks good. Please note that we can see our lines very nicely, but they're not traced real deep. To do the swivel knife cutting, I have chosen a 3/8 inch barrel knife with a ceramic blade that is thin and at an angle. Before I start cutting, as always, I need to strop my blade. Even though you never have to sharpen a ceramic blade, it's a good idea to keep it stropped. You do that every time you pick it up and every time that it begins to drag. Be very careful now to cut exactly on your lines. We want to make sure that our animal looks good. So we need to be very precise with these cuts. I'm cutting about 1/3 of the way through this leather. This will give us a nice relief. Cutting the ear, here I'll do this a little differently. I'll make a straight cut there. Then as I get out here where we have some hair endings, we'll make short cuts. I'll do the same thing here on the bottom side of the ear. I'll make short cuts. Give this as a hairy edge to this ear. We'll do this also on the inside of the ear. Of course, we'll do this to both ears. We will very carefully now cut the eye. We'll cut the part of the eyeball that is visible first, and we will cut the upper eyelid. We'll cut in a little tear duct, and then we will carefully cut an eyelash with some short cuts. And now we can cut the top side of the upper eyelid and the lower part of the eyelid. And now we will continue cutting down the cheek. The nose. The lower lip. And the nostrils. We will now cut the hair on the top of the head. On the top we will cut a straight cut, as you can see me doing here. And then we'll make some long flowing cuts. And we will do some more outlining to these cuts later. Right now I'm just kind of using light cuts to sort of outline the hair. There are some very short hairs down here where the hair meets the nose, and so we'll do some very short cuts in that area. And this is how our Longhorn head appears after we have done all of the swivel knife cutting. I will begin the beveling by working around the outer edges of our head, and I'll do it with some checkered bevelers, a B205, a B702, and a B936. I always start with the larger beveler first, And I'll use this to go around the outer edge of our head. As I get down to the area of the mouth here, I will bevel a little bit more lightly through there, and then the lower lip I will go ahead and bevel to my regular depth. As I get up in this area where the ear comes out of the head, I'll bevel a little more lightly, and especially right there by the eyeball. To bevel the ears, I will carefully bevel along the top, and then as I get here where those hair endings are, I will stay away from the endings a little bit, as not to mash them down. And we will come back later and we will do some more work on these. Same thing is true in the ear opening. We will use the smaller checkered beveler in the nostrils, and you'll notice I'm rather deep down at the bottom of the opening, and then I taper it off as we go up higher.